welcome to the last part of our mini-series, the fourth part on distance control. In part one, we understood that the low shot was easier to judge distance on than throwing the ball airborne. In the second part, we understood that the low shot to run was part of the draw spin family, and the high shot to stop was part of the backspin fade spin family. In part three, we realized that we don't have one putter in the bag, we have 10, and the proportion of roll and carry varies according to the club. So now we're equipped to understand the difference between chipping and pitching. Now I know amongst the readers and the people that adhere to this site, there's a bit of confusion. I think you're chitching or you're pipping. So I want to make sure that you know what a chip is and you know what a pitch is. You ask lots of people what a chip is, it says a low shot that runs. What's a pitch? High shot that stops. They're not wrong, but that's describing the ball's flight. What we need to understand is a chip or a pitch actually refers to the technique that we're using. And very simply, chipping has no wrist hinge or minimal wrist hinge, whereas pitching does. So, if I take my chipping address with my sand iron and turn towards you, the biggest chip I possess is created by the shoulder line, my arms and the shaft, the Y shape. So I turn my shoulder, the biggest Y shape I possess is that. That's 2/3 of a swing, but it's also a full chip. So I think you can see this is a quarter chip, this is half a chip, 3/4 chip and full chip. So let's find out if we can graduate and gauge distance. We've got 4 white posts, 10, 20, 30 and 40 yards. So this is my 56-degree sand iron. I'm going to chip. There's no wrist hinge in this. I'm going to chip to the first stake. There's no wrist hinge in that shot, just hand action. Okay, this is the 20-yard shot. You see the harder I hit it, the higher it flies. I'm now going to go to the third, 30 yards away. This is quite a difficult one because I've put that stake just over the bank. I'm very proud of that. I've got the weight absolutely bang on. And then the biggest chip I possess with the sand irons to here, and that's going to take me about 40 yards to the furthest white post. And I've hit that to a foot. So again, there's no cutting on this. Simon can tell you, hand on the Bible, Simon, my cameraman, he'll tell you that those weren't in any way faked, but I've actually dead weighted all 4 shots. And I did it by calibrating the chip, quarter chip, half chip, 3/4 and full. So now you have that. That's the cornerstone of understanding pitching. So quarter chip, half a chip, 3/4 chip, and full chip. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go quarter chip and quarter wrist. That's a quarter pitch. Half a chip and half a wrist is half a pitch. 3/4 chip and 3/4 wrist is a 3/4 pitch. And a full shoulder, full wrist is a full pitch. So chipping was non-wristy, pitching is wristy. Now, because I've introduced some wrist hinge, I'm going to go 20, 30, 40 and then 50. I've got a little bit more power at my disposal now. So this is going to be a mixture, quarter pitch, a little bit of shoulder, a little bit of wrist. Quarter pitch. Okay, that was 20. This is 30. This is half a chip and half a wrist. Under it slightly, didn't quite get that up the bank. This is now going to go 40 yards. It is 3/4 shoulder, 3/4 wrist. This is a 3/4 pitch with a sand iron. Yeah, that's landing nicely. Few feet past. And then the full pitch in this range, 56 degrees, full shoulder, full wrist, takes me 50 yards through the air and takes me to the blue flag on our synthetic chipping green. So there we have it. Distance control part 4. Understand the difference between chipping and pitching. The difference is chipping is a hand action without a wrist hinge, and pitching is a hand action with a wrist hinge. Whatever you do, pick one of them and go for it. Don't get caught between 2 stools.